There she is. Hey. Hi.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tara Dublin. Okay, and so again, my headphones are being wonky, so I will I unfortunately, folks, there may be a little bit of a slap back from her voice, but it's not going to affect anything else. We'll be totally fine. Hi, Tara Dublin. You're so wonderful and welcome, and thank you for being here, and it's great. And sorry about Portland. Hashtag rip Portland. I
It
How do
just,
you look? I'm glad
it
everything
just
burned
keeps
up.
being Portland.
Yeah, well, I'm glad everything finally burned up completely because it was hard to see you through the smoke the last time you were on the show. You know what I mean? It was, yeah.
Well, the last time I saw you, I hadn't been in a shooting. I got to do that this time, though.
Oh, you did?
Well, I wasn't right in the path of the active shooter,
Oh, okay.
but I was in the area.
Well,
I'm getting a great echo.
Are you?
It's
I beg
awesome.
your pardon.
Also, I can't see you. I can only see myself. So this is super fun for me.
Really? I'm sending you images. So let me do that. Let me see. You should not be getting anything but.
All I see is me and a black square next to me.
Maybe
and
stretch your window
echoing
out
like
because
hell.
I'm definitely there. Hold on one second.
I mean, I believe that you're there because I can see you, but I mean,
Right.
I can hear you.
Right.
But
Let's see. I'm gonna make sure
no
the chat.
tech savvy on my end.
Let's not get a personal mix. I'm gonna get the.
And I'm kind of.
There you go.
Slow and echoing.
Did your echo go away? Is it? I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of one because it's coming from my side.
Okay, let me think. No, that's so much better.
Okay, great. Excellent.
No, it isn't. Actually, it's all the same.
The nerve. Okay, so as long as let's see, you get no. Okay, the chat's not going back there. You're not getting the audience mix. You shouldn't be. In that regard.
So I look good. That's all that matters.
You look spectacular, honestly.
Well, it's hot pink summer, so I was trying to.
I agree. That's one of my favorite 80s.
I'm acknowledging my Barbie privilege.
Yes, it's one of my favorite 80s sex romp movies, not based on a camp. Okay, hold on, and I'm making sure. Okay, there you are. Do we hear you? Check for me.
Check.
It's very. I see. I see. Hold on one second. All right, go for it. Now let's see. This might even be worse, but.
More worse?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Look at that. More.
Actually, that's so much better.
Is it better? Okay, good. Well, they hear you now.
No echo on my end.
Okay, great.
I still don't see you.
See, that's on your end. I am sending you image. You just have to look at the settings and see my thing, because I'm definitely sending you an image.
I got a video source. I got an audio source. I got an audio output destination.
Stretch your window out a little bigger, if you know what I'm saying. And I might.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, just your browser window. Just widen it. Like use your mouse. Huh?
Is that better?
Yeah, it's terrific. There we go.
Great. I still don't see you.
That's so weird. All right, you should be saying. All right. Trust me, you look fantastic. We look fantastic.
The most important.
Yes. So I want to catch up with you because a lot's happened in your world besides the. So tell us the mass shooting thing, and then hold on. We're gonna work on this. Okay. And tell us the story of where you were, by the way.
I was at the Mississippi Avenue Street Fair a couple of weeks ago, and I'm involved with the most wonderful community in Portland. It's called the Low Bar Corral, and we get together every couple of weeks in a bar with a live band and sing 3-part harmony, all contemporary music, and it's the most fantastic. And sometimes we do special events around town, and we were performing at the Mississippi Street Fair, and we were in the middle of literally the song "Simply the Best," honoring Tina Turner. And all of a sudden, all of these people started rushing towards the stage, and we knew they weren't super excited because they were there to see Low Bar Corral. So, and then people looked really scared, obviously.
And so I kept saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" And people were like, "I don't know." And so there was like this weird human lemming response.
Yep.
And so I found a guy who was a security guy for the street fair, and I was like, "Hey, bud, what's going on?" And he was like, "Confirmed gunshots." I was like, "Awesome, thanks, Portland." And so the story was that there was a beef between two guys at the top of the street fair one of them stabbed the other in the hand, and the guy who got stabbed pulled out a gun and like randomly did shooting, and
Jesus Christ! You literally wait.
Yes.
You actually lived through a Sean Connery quote.
I mean, what can I tell you? What can I tell you? It's Portland. So he got stabbed in the hand, and then the other guy pulled out a gun and started waving it around.
He pulls out a knife. You pull out a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital. You send one of his to the mall.
Now. So we'll just make all the references. So anyway, a woman who was he shot a windshield, and the glass went into a woman's eye, who was just like a passerby.
Yeah, that happens.
She was rushed to the hospital and may lose vision in her eye. And then that guy ran away after refusing medical help. And like all the streets behind the street fair were roped off with tape, and that effectively ended the street fair. So, and then there was another shooting a week later, about 3 blocks from where I live. So that's super fun. And I still go outside because I have to, but I'm really choosy about when I go outside now and where I go.
Well, you know, again, this is one of the things I caught shit for when early on from our friends that are, you know, alleged that they are further to the left of I, and I call them progressives. I don't buy that, because the people who are in most danger from criminals that don't get locked up when they do criminal shit are poor people and people of color and people who have to work for a fucking living, and people who have to ride buses, and people who don't have 100 choices where to be in a day. They have 2, right? Those are the people
or they don't have health insurance.
Right. Those are the people who get hurt most by violent crime. And if you want to help those people, you don't start with going easy on the ones that decided, you know what? Rape's on the table. Like, that's not the kind of person you give a break to. You give a break to the rest of the community by getting those assholes out for as long as possible. Because after you get a long reprieve from violent crime, then you can get your fucking life in order. It's way easier to get and keep a job when you're not dodging fucking random bullets on your way. So any violent criminal or anybody who uses a gun in the commission of a crime, or threatens to use a gun in the commission of a crime, because that's a stage just like anything else. That's the serial killers fuck with animals before they move on to a person. Waving a gun in the commission of a crime is that step for somebody who murders somebody later, without fail. Literally.
And there's a reason he ran from the police, because he had a record, and you know, it's just. And
no, 100 times no. People don't deserve that, especially like poor people and working people who have to get on with their fucking lives. And it's so funny that like, what's her name? Anna Kasparian is getting all this shit from people, from the Young Turks, for finally like waking up to that normal thought, which is, and they shit on me like crazy about it. But what I would say is
the whole thing about guns is, I don't care if you want one, and I don't care if you have one. And I'm not going to try to take it away from you. And I don't know any Democrat, well, maybe Beto, but no one's going into your house to take away your gun. All we ask is that you be smart with it and not murder other people. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
No, I agree. I also think
murdering someone seems to be a pretty low bar for humanity, and yet people can't reach it. I don't know why.
Right. Well, I would say that, you know, again, it's a city and rural thing, because you could kind of spray the woods with gunfire and not hit whoever's out there if you live out in the fucking sticks. As somebody who used to live in the sticks, you know, and there's a lot of sticks around, you know, what's left of Portland. So I understand the people that are out in Oregon proper might have a different attitude towards having a gun when it's the cops are, no matter what, 90 minutes away, than people who live in a city near apartments and other shit, which, you know, again, the only time you're going to use that gun is in a fucking beef. And if you can't hit what you're shooting at for self-defense in under 6 shots, you shouldn't be allowed to have a gun in the city limits. Train yourself up, be perfect with it, or don't pull it at all. The best thing that can ever happen with a gun is the worst day of your life. Still, at best, a gun is a necessary evil, no matter what it's for. And as long as people, you know,
I don't want one.
Yeah, I don't have one. I have my this guy right here.
I can't see you. Is it nunchucks? Do you have nunchucks?
I do have nunchucks, but this is a non-lethal pepper ball gun.
I have the stabby cat on my keychain.
Yeah.
I've never had to use it.
Oh, so it was you who attacked the governor candidate in upstate New York. Remember that? Remember the whole dude who was stabbed, and then the lefty DA let the guy out, and it turned out it wasn't a lefty DA at all. It was the guy. It was one of the co-chairs of the Republican.
Oh my God!
Gubernatorial.
I can't keep up. I can't keep up.
Remember he was. They're like, he was stabbed on stage. Someone tried to stab him.
Oh
remember
right!
That?
Yeah. I remember that. Yes.
That was with one of those stabby cats. He had a stabby cat.
That's crazy. They're for self-defense.
Oh my God, Tara Dublin's gonna totally Mission Impossible us and just brum.
Every woman should have a stabby cat. I mean, I'm glad I've never had to use it, but I'm also glad that I have it when I'm walking to my car somewhere. So
yeah. So I bought one of those for my mom as well, the Burnett, because where she, I mean, she lives not far from Mitch McConnell, so I'm worried.
Oh well, he's really lively, and she better watch out.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, he might. No sudden movements, buddy.
That poor man. That poor man. I mean, the look on his face. I really thought, because I didn't know what was happening. Like the first time I saw the photo of him, I didn't realize he was having a medical incident. I thought he was just like standing there pooping his pants. He was like, oh no, had a depends moment, like Donald Trump has on stage. I figured it was one of those.
Yeah,
but no, maybe
it very well may have been. It may have been.
We'll never know.
In the world of PR, I gotta say, in the world of PR, what's worse? What do you come out and say? Like, I may have had I had a concussion a while ago, so I had a little brain fart there, I'm fine or whatever, or I shit my pants. Well, I mean,
it's the brain fart, right?
Yeah, I would go straight.
Look,
speaking of stabby cat, there's a stabby cat right behind. He's sharpening his talons. He's cleaning them right behind you.
Oh, he's very vicious.
Oh yeah.
He's so vicious, let me tell you. That giant ridiculous baby. There's Duke. Look at him.
Duke.
They bring in no meaningful income. Either one of the cats. It's ridiculous. They wake me early.
So sad.
They beg for food all day. Do nothing to improve our station in life. They're very spoiled. And
I just set up a camera on my floor for cat cam in the future. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wow. It's that bad. It's that bad. I'm gonna make them pay. God damn it.
I know.
All right, I'm gonna put it. They're gonna come in. And I'm gonna go. All right, the cat's in the room. I'm gonna turn on the cat cam, but you got a super chat.
Let's hustle. Let's hustle. Let's get that cat AMSR. The bills don't pay themselves.
Oh
Let's go
God, what a gnarly. This is the sound of them licking themselves. It's just so wrong.
That and the scratching inside the box when they have to get the stuff off their nails, and they're in there for like 10 minutes going. I hate that
or do you get clumpy clay in the paws?
Yeah.
And then they step out, and then it flakes as you're walking. You're like, I'm walking.
I've got, and Maxine is a Maine Coon, so she's really long hair. So occasionally,
oh my God, I
dry
want one.
Dingleberry.
Yeah.
And then she'll walk across my desk with a dry dingleberry, and I'm like, well, what are you doing?
You know what? I don't want one.
That's not feminine
I don't want
at
one
all.
anymore. I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, good.
You talked me out of a Maine Coon, which is good, because I've wanted one for a while.
Oh. If you've never found yourself wiping diarrhea from a Maine Coon's ass at 3 o'clock in the morning, you are not a cat owner. You just aren't. You don't know. You don't know what that life is.
I don't know. I think there's a fine line between cat owner and Siegfried and Roy, and I think you've pressed it into either Siegfried or Roy.
I have this thing. Wait, here, I'll show you. On my desk, a reminder.
What does that say?
Dogs have owners.
Oh, yes.
Cats have staff. It's true. I work for them. They don't pay me. They don't bring in any income. We're in a lot of trouble. I don't know how we're paying September rent, but it's fine. We're cute.
We're adorable. We'll make it happen. Again, for sure. I'm just saying. When are we going to see the Tara Dublin podcast, the Tara Dublin live stream? Because the more the merrier. You know me. Some people will try to run people off the internet.
Do you want that? Well, I'm unemployed. If anyone wants to hire me and pay me to podcast for them, I'd be happy to do that.
It doesn't quite work that way, but in theory, but it doesn't quite work that way. It takes a little.
It doesn't work like that.
No. It's a bit like it's a bit like you do it anyways. I see. And then, and then, right.
Okay. Right. I would like people to pay me to write for them, because I used to get money to do that, and I don't get money anymore.
I understand.
So,
is it the Portland thing? Is it because did they create their own currency like the hippie, like
we're using kombucha bottle caps as currency right now.
sure, yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. The kind and it's the $1 is just the screw top, and then the $2 is the ones that pop like a Snapple top. They go
correct,
yeah, like the oil
correct.
can. I got it. Okay,
And if you
it
can
makes
also,
sense. It's
yes,
Portland wampum is the saddest, hippiest wampum ever.
wow,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, up until last Monday, I had a job writing about politics on the internet, but I no longer do. So
Well,
that's super great. And I'm also trying to get a book published forever, trying to
right.
get a book deal. And I don't know if you remember, but when I first joined Twitter back in the dark ages of 2009, it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
everybody was getting handed a half-hour Comedy Central stand-up special or a book deal or a TV show from
Oh,
a
don't get me
tweet.
started. Yeah.
So that all that is so different now, and it literally doesn't matter what you tweet because Elon Musk has ruined the algorithms, and it doesn't matter who follows you anymore,
Oh
and it
yeah.
doesn't matter who retweets you. The right
Are you
people
on?
aren't going to
Wait.
see
Okay.
you.
First of all, I agree. We all can agree on the hellish parts of life, and since you
Yeah,
live in Portland, you're surrounded by it all the time. But
constantly.
let's start making some progress. Are you on Threads?
I am not on Threads, and I have an excellent reason why I am not, and that is because I don't have an Instagram account. And the reason I don't is because several years ago, I was suspended permanently from Instagram for harassment when all I was doing
Okay.
was
Tell
posting
test. All
pictures
right. We
of
need
the
to hear
people
it.
who were harassing me.
You were harassing the people who were harassing you.
Well, I was posting the messages that my MAGA harassers were sending me to warn people, please report this person. This person is harassing me. And instead, MAGA people would report me. And because Instagram doesn't have any humans or people with any
Mm-hmm.
empathy working there, there's no way to appeal to a human and call them and say, hey, I've been harassed by MAGA people since 2015. Can you protect me? Instead, they're like, we don't understand anything you're doing, so goodbye forever. So fuck Instagram and fuck Threads and fuck Zuck. It's bad enough I maintain a Facebook and I'm not deleting my Twitter. So I do have a spoutable, but
Sure. Well, whoops. That's fun. Why'd she just turn upside down? How did that happen? She literally just, what happened? What, honestly, she muted herself and turned herself upside down. Portland is tumbling. Portland is tumbling. Yeah, no, I can't hear you. You're upside down. Hold on. Let me see can I do anything? Can I turn you upside down? Let's see. I'm going to go. This is amazing. See, Zuckerberg did this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Hold on. Video settings. Can I aspect ratio? I can't rotate it. Hold on. I'm going to turn desk view. Hold on. All right. I'm not going to. Did your phone turn upside down? Is that what happened? And your audio went off. So that's fun. Hold on. I will, let's see. Headset microphone. No. iPhone microphone. There you go. Refresh. See if she grabs it there. Check 1, check 2, check 3. Can you hear me? Nope. She's. Why are you back upside down? We just quit fixing it. Now I'm understanding why you're getting kicked off of Instagram. Yeah, there's no audio coming from your end. Yep. Nope, none whatsoever, I promise. I would see a little bar moving up and down, and I have a little dink dink. Yep. I'm refreshing. Okay, that's I don't know why it's on your headset microphone. Oh yeah, because you were using your headset microphone. Hold on, I'll request that, and then you'll give it, and that'll be that. I'm requesting. I need one of those. Boom 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 boom. Boom 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 boom. Da 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 boodly 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 boodadum boom boom. It's Andy No's fault. All right. Oh, she's hanging up and she's coming back. Okay, give us a second. Her lip liner is divine. I agree. We see her lips moving. That's important. She's gonna call. Thank you, Stargal. Tara's Jim. Oh, here she comes.
hey,
Hey, now I hear you. There we go. Now I've got a.
I see you.
Oh, and look at that.
Wait a minute. I can see you.
That makes sense. So you were calling me on.
Hi, Hal.
Hold on. You're on my. I gotta put you back in here. 1 second.
Okay. Wait, I need my seat.
Yep, you're good. And 3, 2, 1. There she is. Hey, look at
Here
that.
I am.
So much
Hey,
better.
kids.
So much better.
Hi,
Look at that.
kids. How
There
are
you go.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much better.
Fabulous.
I love
Hey.
it. It's fabulous. Hello.
See? Now it looks
We're all
good. Now
here
it looks
now.
good.
Yay. I can
Yeah.
see you. I can see me. I can hear you. There's no echo. It's like we should just start all over.
I agree. So, goodbye, Portland. It's been nice. So, I this is a good question too, because you write on politics, and I have always
Yes.
found that being involved in politics on the West Coast is always putting you in a disadvantage because you're 3 hours behind everything that's happened. Because
Yes.
to a certain degree, the people who get it's why Wall Street is largely on the East Coast, because they're just following the sun. They get a running start.
Yeah, I mean, if
And
I
the same-
wanted to get up at 3 a.m. to stay ahead, I would, but no one pays me enough to do that. So.
Right. Well, that's why, like, Steph's built something, and it's largely because she had the morning show version of things, as opposed to if you're doing an afternoon drive time or midday something news thing, you want to be on the East Coast because it's happening as you're ahead of everyone else. You don't want to go, oh, it's noon now, but this all happened, whatever,
Right.
3 hours later. So, is it time for a Tara Dublin like East Coast pilgrimage?
I mean, if someone wants to fund that, I'm sure my mother would be delighted to have me back in New York, because all of my family is back there. Literally everybody except for the family I created with my body. So, I mean, my whole family, my mom is on the Upper West Side, and my brother and sister-in-law are out on Long Island, and I have a ton of friends in New York.
I think, well, is she allergic to cats? Because if not,
No.
I'm thinking it's time for a sabbatical to jumpstart a bunch of shit, especially, Tara Dublin rocks reporting live from outside the courthouse, which at some point is going
I would love nothing more than to be reporting live on that shit, because especially how miserable my life has been because of Donald Trump and his followers for the last 8 years of my life, all day, every day. And some of the people who support him, who are in Congress, have harassed me also. So being able to parlay that into a real paying career would be delightful. And what's weird is that everybody on MSNBC follows me back, and they all, like, I've tried repeatedly to get my story. Like, I think it's newsworthy that Donald Trump blocked me and never unblocked me in 2015.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
newsworthy
agree.
that all 3 of his main adult children blocked me and never unblocked me. I think it's newsworthy that most of MAGA, I have so many MAGA blocks of people, of the worst possible people. There are 6 unnamed co-conspirators. 4 of them have me blocked on Twitter. So
that's impressive. Everybody, chat room, please give it up for Tara in this.
Thank you. And on the positive side of things, look who does follow me currently, besides you wonderful human being. Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, Patton Oswalt, Ellen Barkin, Sandra Bernhard, Rachel Maddow, Stephen King. Stephen King follows me back.
Yes.
We haven't interacted yet, so hey, Uncle Stevie, let's talk. But Stephen King followed me back. He only follows like 166 people, and I'm one of them. I feel like there's this, and then there's the whole Dave Grohl story, which is so huge and so hugely important to me. And tomorrow is the 22nd anniversary of the day we met, and it's the coolest rock star meets fan story ever that not enough people know about, including Dave Grohl. So I'm this untapped gold mine, and all I really need is the right person to say, yes, we'll hire you. Yes, we'll publish you. And I don't know where that person is, but I really need them to show up, because I got laid off last Monday, and it's a terrible time to be a writer, because you were touching on this before I joined you.
Yeah.
The rise of AI is replacing people like me who once made their living in the media. There was an article recently. There's a woman who does the midday on quote unquote live 95.5 here in Portland. First of all, she doesn't live in Portland. She's voice tracked from somewhere else.
Yep.
They're replacing her with AI. Her own voice is replacing her as AI. And she's like, I think it's cool. And I'm like, you're a dumb bitch if you think that's cool.
Right. Yeah. You're nuts. Are they licensing it from her?
I don't know what they're doing. I wonder if they're trying to do what like all of the streaming owners are trying to do. Where it's like, we're going to take a picture of your image once and use it in perpetuity and only pay you like $1.50. It
Right.
may be that, but I mean, I contend, and I think that you would agree with me because, because of Stephanie, because of your past and where we all come from. People tune into things like this. People tune into the radio. People tune into Sirius.
Yep.
People listen to that for the human connection. We can all make our own
Yeah,
playlists.
exactly. Which is, I think,
it's all
interestingly
about
enough,
that.
yeah, when it comes to your Dave Grohl story and your personal interaction with the political world, that's the part you can't replace with AI at all.
Right.
Because
or my
people
opinions, those things that I wrote about Marjorie and Matt Gaetz and Ted Cruz that made them so angry with me. AI can try, but it's not going to capture the way I think. It's not going to capture my voice, and it's not going to scare Marjorie and Matt the way I
do. Although, hear me out. 500 Tara Dublins, obviously bots, but with a different evidence point, a singular evidence point, like Joel Greenberg's fake IDs that he was giving to underage girls, and one of them was used for the girl that flew with Matt Gaetz to Georgia. And all that Tara Dublin bot does is hammer that online everywhere, all day, all the time. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene's sex guru that her husband didn't know about. You've got a Tara Dublin bot, and all it does all day, every day, is talk about that, post and repost pictures, and create mid-journey pictures of Marjorie Taylor Greene and that dude vacationing together. I'm
the
just
guy
saying.
With the 5 head. What is with her and guys with giant foreheads? What is that?
There was a period.
What does it mean?
There was a period in human development where I'm sure it's a very Cro-Magnon aspect, where a bigger forehead meant a bigger skull, meant a bigger brain, because everybody had that mashed gorilla head. And so someone like her, who's hurting for brains, might just have a natural drive.
Brain.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah. She would. Yeah, she would eat it. So okay. So you're definitely looking for work, and we're going to help you find it. I don't know how, but the chat room will help.
I don't know either. It's a crazy. I have applied for like menial labor jobs, which I don't want to. I mean, up until the pandemic, I was actually working as a restaurant host here in Portland because I couldn't find work.
And then there's no more restaurants because of the Antifa asteroid.
I mean, it was a dual. There was a pandemic, but then also the Antifa asteroid hit at the same time as the Black Lives Matter people set everything on fire. So, it's everybody else's fault.
Okay.
But
yeah. Sir, first of all, I don't understand why Tara Dublin is not in charge of the Portland City Preservation Society and every possible derivation of those kind of jobs that would force you to be a professional NPR guest forever and ever. Because
that would be wonderful.
All those qualifications, and you're lovely. And
thank you. Tell it to the mayor's office, who won't even give me an interview. That's fine. Ted Wheeler really needs a lot of help, and nobody likes him, and nobody likes the job that he's doing, and nobody wants his job, and no one seems to want to help. Everyone likes to complain. I think I have a few solutions, but while I was still employed with Occupy Democrats, I tried to get an interview with Ted Wheeler. I live here. We used to hang out socially back in the day when I was on the radio, and he was the darling of the local Portland political scene, along with Kate Brown. And I used to go to dinner with him and his wife, who have since they've divorced. And I used to say, "You're going to be mayor someday," and he'd be like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And I'm like, "Sure you don't." And I would say to Kate Brown, "Someday you're going to be governor." And she was like, I don't know if this country's ready for a bisexual governor. And I'm like, yes, they are, and you will make it. And so, I feel like I'm this political precog that no one wants to listen to, because sometimes I say things that are difficult to hear because they're true. And just because it's true doesn't mean you have to avoid it and ignore it. Instead of ignoring it, tackle it, face it, because eventually it's going to come back to bite you. So, and that's why Republicans don't like me. It's not that I do anything wrong. Is I just ask them, why are you like this? And why did you do this? And here's the facts.
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Literally what's wrong with you. Here, Marjorie, here is video of you walking down the steps of the White House before you were ever sworn into office saying, we're plotting January 6th and this is what we're doing. We
Right.
have you on video. Why does
Right.
nobody talk about that? Why does the MSM not talk about it? These are the things that I would write about that made her mad and sent her comms director after me, but didn't really get me anywhere in
Right.
life. So I feel like,
All
again,
right.
I've
So
described,
first of
I'm
all,
this untapped
first
gold
of all,
mine,
you're running
man.
for mayor. We've solved it. First of all, you're running
Oh
for mayor.
no, you
Hold
don't want
on.
me as a candidate. I would be a terrible with this map.
It's okay. First of all, it's Portland. There's not even a functioning city to run anymore. So it's not like you're going to be busy with actual work. Secondly, you don't, as we know from the entire Republican field right now, you don't have to win. You just have to be a ramshackle, rough and tumble, perky candidate that says the things that the establishment doesn't want to hear.
I need to also get a really fuzzy filter.
Yes,
so that
absolutely.
I look like I'm an alien.
And then of course you don't. If you lose, you can just say you won anyways. Now I'm only half joking in that running for office or some part of it might actually benefit you on a scale. So if he won't listen to you, running for school board, city council, comptroller, any of these things that you've been writing about for a long time because you have an awareness of it, is not a bad idea. I know it's a stretch.
It is. Can you imagine being my campaign manager though?
Yes, I can. Absolutely.
Like,
and I would get
fuck.
I would get
Stop
pimp boots.
fuck.
I'd have a cane. I'd have a giant Zaphod Beeblebrox Prince purple rain jacket that I would roll around and I would go, Miss Dublin is not taking any questions right now. That'd be my gig. And then I would
love it. I love that would actually really fit in Portland. It would. We my office, I wouldn't even have an office. I would hang out at a food cart pod.
Right.
And near a dispensary.
Yes.
And just burn the bong all day.
The
while
first
eating
person who's running for office and to not spend any time in an office.
I mean, who needs one, right?
Yeah,
who needs an office
Why does Portland have an office? That's the problem.
Portland is an office of its own. Everybody runs it together. We're an autonomous collective.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're the mud collectors in Holy Grail.
That's
right.
That's your second Holy Grail reference, by the way, of this show, because you did the shrubbery reference earlier. Don't think I didn't hear it.
No. It's a theme show. I heard
the shrubbery.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Gen X going on before I joined you, because besides the shrubbery, you dropped the Fred Garvin male prostitute reference.
Yes.
Which,
more of a boomer reference, because that was, I was a little too young for that gag. We were
a lot too young for Saturday Night Live when we first started watching it, but
yes,
that's why we're the way we are now.
I insist.
Part of it, Gen X is just the best of all the generations, and I will continue to say this.
Okay, so the other place is, you're not going to run for office, and I think that you should, and I'm gonna hammer this. It's going to be annoying.
Okay.
Is communications for campaigns that are out, that are outside or pushy campaigns that are trying to push their way through in purple districts that are trying to go blue, that just need some bossy talk. And that's copy what you write on Twitter and all these other places. If I'm going to turn this into an intervention at all, honestly, a good portion of that is campaign writing, just done freelance for free.
Yeah. I mean, if Joe and Kamala want to hire me, I'm monumentally available for them, because
they can't touch you. You literally, I would put you with Swalwell, Dan Goldman, maybe Ted Lieu, captains of the don't give a fuck team.
Well, first of all, Eric Swalwell is my eternal Dem crush. # Dem crush. I love him so much.
I know, he had blonde hair. He looks like an astronaut. I get it.
But I mean, I love him he's not, doesn't live in my state, but I have an autographed copy of Endgame, which everybody should read, by the way. Mm-hmm. If you haven't read his book, Endgame, it's so good. It's about the first impeachment. and it came out that summer. And when it first came out, I was like, oh my God, I just lived through this. Why would I want to read about it? It's so good. And it's actually really funny. And there's this great moment where he encounters Jim Jordan in the gym, which is very funny. But I just love him. I especially extra love him when I find out that he stood up nose to nose with Kevin McCarthy and was like, you
are a pussy. I know. I read that the other day. And I love how everybody was talking about, like, well, there was some variance on the details, but everyone we talked to quoted that last moment verbatim. Like, there's some give and take about McCarthy's people or other people who like him saying that, well, it was like their chests were touching or weren't touching, or it was like that. And then, but everybody quotes that moment. Call me a pussy one more time, I'm gonna kick your ass. You are a pussy.
And then he proved it by backing off because he's a pussy. He's a weak, spineless. He lives in Trump's alimentary canal. It's amazing. He gets any words out when he's so tightly up there. I love Eric Swalwell. I love Hakeem Jeffries. I love Cory Booker. I love Ted Lieu. I love Gavin Newsom. I love Pete Buttigieg. I mean, we have so many Democrats to be proud of, and we have so much to brag about. And the problem is that good news is not sexy, and it doesn't make people get excited anymore because they're addicted to the rage cycle. I would love to change that. I would love to do a whole podcast where I just tell you about the good stuff Democrats do, but nobody would watch it. So, I mean,
well, I don't know.
Like, I don't know if you were watching, but the other night on MSNBC
call
when
it
they were talking
Ammo.
about.
I mean, honestly, you could have a podcast called Ammo, and and it's just Tara Dublin's Ammo, and they're like, this is ammunition for you when you're in a conversation about people saying everything's shit, nothing works, nobody's good, politicians suck, the Democrats don't know how to message, all that crap you hear all the time. Well, welcome to Ammo. For the next half hour, this, and this was cool, and this was cool, and the you are a pussy moment, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody in the chat room is like, I would watch that. I'm just saying.
Well, that sounds great. That sounds
Ammo
great. Just
with
the
Tara
other
Dublin.
night on MSNBC, Stephanie Rule, the other night on MSNBC was like, Democrats would love it if we did a 1-hour special highlighting everything Joe Biden has done.
Yes.
Like, well, fucking do it. Please fucking do it. Because all you're doing is talking about Trump and how the polls say they're matched. Fuck what? I have never been polled. No one has ever polled me, ever. And it's always like 100 people who just walked out of a Friendly's somewhere in Indiana, right? So it's never you.
Hey,
it's never...
first of all, I feel seen. Secondly,
I'm just saying, like if anybody from the DNC would like to hire me, because I think I would be a great person to help message.
I'm just saying.
For 2024.
Our dear friend Jackie Schechner went to work for Planned Parenthood, and now she and Travis are working together. And I do think that there is if the complaint is that messaging is off on the Democratic side, then that's where some folks like yourself need to go, quite frankly, because articles are one thing and fake news kind of nonsense.
He's the fake news.
Yeah.
Every accusation's a confession, even to this day. To this day, there are people who are like, he's innocent. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Of course he's not innocent. How many more indictments do you need to see? How many more? Because there's more coming.
Personally,
do you need more? Because there's more.
Yeah. I think I'm going. He's going to go with an even 100 at some point. They're going to expand charges.
But can it be 88? Because that's like a Jewish trigger number. Can it be one of those Jewish anti-Semitic dog whistle numbers?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're well past 14 something, right? So we have to do 88
so I think
next.
88 is one. So we can maybe try that one. I'm fine with 88 indictments. Or 88 years in prison, or whatever gets MAGA to pay attention to the fact that he's a fucking criminal, traitorous rapist. Anything really. It's like, I'm so sorry the truth is so hard for you. That's one of the reasons why I keep doing what I do. The truth is so important, because the truth is so important, and I don't really care who it's about, like the truth. Tell me the truth about Hunter Biden. What's the truth? Aside from the fact that every photo you put up of him looks like a 90s Herb Ritz thirst trap. Every photo of Herb Ritz, of Hunter Biden is like,
Yeah, it looks
And
like
they
he's doing.
all
It looks like he's memeing porn every time. Like he's doing fake. Like he's
they
being
all
funny.
want to fuck him.
Yes.
All of them want the big
Right.
hunter schlong and the power that, because Republicans are bad in bed. They don't know where the clitoris is, and they don't know what a multiple orgasm is, and
I think I figured
they're
out why.
so repressed.
All right. When if you're writing for campaigns, that'll have to be dialed
Is that
back.
the one?
Unless, of course,
that
we're
the one?
talking about like the recall election in California where we had actual porn stars running, and so that kind of language would be necessary.
Well,
but
when you got Gavin Newsom, hubba hubba, I mean, who else can you put up against Gavin Newsom except someone who has sex for a living? Because Gavin Newsom is scorchingly hot. Scorching.
Yeah,
Anything
I know, it's
he
annoying,
says,
and
you're
he's
just
tall,
like,
and I stood next to him.
oh, and the hair.
Yeah.
He's got gray hair, right?
Yes. So,
And
by the way,
he's a
for
great
those,
Democratic advocate. So
yeah, and
all of it.
and he talked, and I gotta say,
Oh.
I gotta fix his diet, and I gotta give him some voice lessons so he's able to speak by the time he becomes president, because it's gonna fucking happen.
Well,
But Tara Dublin Rocks is on, just so you know, on Twitter, what's formerly the artist formerly known as Twitter.
it's still
X.
Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter forever. It doesn't matter. You can
I call it
X.
shitter now because of Xi Jinping and the X and the I, and that makes sense to me. So on
Well,
shitter,
he can go X himself. Elon
and
can X himself.
eventually, if you are on Threads, and other people are on Mastodon, or you're on Spoutable, there will be it'll be
I'm
part
on
of
the TikTok. I got a TikTok also.
We
I'm
have
sorry.
to talk. We have to talk.
I'm sorry. Well, I was told a long time ago that if I wanted to grow my following, I needed to get on TikTok and make videos. So I started doing that. One of my videos has 71,000 views on it, which apparently isn't a lot, but sounds like a lot. And then I told a bad dating story. I had a really bad dating experience, and that story got 14,000.
Put your same videos on Facebook Reels and monetize them.
They are.
That's my business advice today. Secondarily, also start a YouTube channel and put them on as shorts, and then direct those to your other writing stuff immediately. That said,
I have my Substack. I have a Venmo. I have
great. What's your
all the things.
What's your Substack? What's the let's
It's taradublin.substack.com. It's all about my book that I have written and want to get published, the whole Dave Grohl thing. But there's other things on there that I've written as well to show my range. So I did a really funny T.S. Eliot parody using Trump that got a fantastic rejection from McSweeney's, and the only reason they rejected it is because they had recently published a T.S. Eliot parody. But I encourage everyone to please read that. And then I'm serializing my book for now for paid subscribers, because until I get a book deal, I wrote a fictionalized version of my Meet Cool with Dave Grohl.
Oh, all right. So it's like fanfic versions of that thing. That's great.
It's the ultimate fan fiction, because it's not like I read Twilight and then made it dirty and called it 50 Shades of Grey. This actually happened to me. The only thing that's different between what happened in real life and what happens in the book is that we've never exchanged bodily fluids. That happens in the book. It didn't happen in real life, because when we met, I was married and the mother of a toddler. Well, I mean, in the book, they bone a lot in the book. I can promise
Yes, they do.
There's a lot of sex in the book. The book is basically Almost Famous meets The Way We Were on the Warped Tour, because it takes place in the early 2000s. And if nobody knows, it's the coolest story ever. 22 years ago tomorrow, I flew down to LA for a Foo Fighters show at the Troubadour that was just for registered members of their post board. And, girls go to concerts and they're like, oh my God, the lead singer totally looked at me. Well, the lead singer totally looked at me, but then he goes, I know who you are. And this is before there was Twitter and Facebook and any social media. There was only the Foo Fighters post board. To this day, I don't know how he found me. I do not know why he chose me, but he used to call me his internet crush. And I am convinced I'm the person who inspired him to write Times Like These, which is the song that saved the Foo Fighters. They did not break up when they were rumored to break up in 2002, because we hung out for a little bit. And there's a great story about that, which is on my TikTok. And I believe to this day that he would be delighted to get back in touch with me, but I don't have a phone number or email for him anymore like I used to 20 years ago. So if anybody out there knows the Grohl, let's go. I mean, if nothing else, the cool book thing, if that ever got published, I would have to talk about the connection. And I have so much respect for him. We haven't talked in forever. We haven't seen each other in forever, but there's so much that I could tell that I will never.
I will say,
and he's
one of the
been
easiest
through the
things to
worst
bond
fucking year
with
of his life.
Yeah, one of the best things to bond with Tara Dublin about is love of the Foo Fighters. Who
I mean, they've been my band since 1995, but I will tell you this: I don't want him like that whole thing. I'm 54. He's been married for 20. Like we don't. I'm not looking to get on the man. I want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. That's honestly it. And if there was such a thing as teleportation, I would be teleporting to Spokane, Washington, because that's where they're playing tonight. But I haven't seen them play live since 2015. It's just life things and whatever. And all I really want to do is just talk to the guy and be like, hey, remember when I said this, and then you said that, and then a little bit later you wrote Times Like These, and it sounds like exactly like my favorite song ever, Heroes, which you said you would never cover. But then I said you needed to write me a song that's just as good as Heroes, and then you kind of did. Did I do that? Is that true? Is that a thing? I'm not making that up. So it's just, and imagine living with unanswered questions for 22 years.
Sure.
Like I just want to, there's so much going on in here and I need to make it go quiet.
Portland's not a good place for that. I'm just saying.
Whoa, and remember where she comes from. This is an explanation, an apology, and a warning for everybody all at once. Like, I'm sorry. You can take the New Jersey out of the girl. You can take the girl out of New Jersey, but you can't take it out of the girl, and she'll still piss people off everywhere she goes.
Sure.
So, it's all about, yes, you're not wrong. I could be really great working on a political campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm a good candidate myself. I don't have a lot of patience. I don't have a lot of tolerance, and I have no money. Right. But I could be a great political staffer. I think all you have to do is give me a candidate I can believe in, and then I can say anything, whatever, as long as it's true, say the truth about them. But ultimately, I want to be paid for what I do best, which is write or this voice. I used to get paid a lot of money to do voiceover work. I used to get paid to be on the radio. I used to get paid to, do commercials and things like that. And that voice is still available to people if they want to pay me for that. I've been trying to get back on the radio in Portland forever because I believe in the power of terrestrial radio at the live and local level. I work on Sirius XM. I would do that. But it's also really hard when people keep trying to put it back. It's like, there's a radio station in Portland that has me blocked. A news station. Because truth is hard, and there's no liberal talk shows in Portland, so why would they want to have to acknowledge the truth? It's all kinds of frustrations.
All right, and there's another one then. So all I'm going to do is throw a shit ton of really good ideas and
bring it, Hal. I'm open. I'm open.
One of them would be because Ammo with Tara Dublin as a show out of Portland in and of itself is the seed for a live stream / radio setup for progressive ideas in the Portland area, and then you basically run the place.
I do have an engineer lined up. I do. I have a friend of mine who has a home studio, and he's begging me. He's like,
"Of course,
let's do a podcast."
Of course, you do in Portland. Somebody's got an unused home studio. It's Portland.
Of course, constantly.
Yeah, it's the new. It is the New Zealand to Seattle's Australia. I get it. In that regard.
That. I like that comparison.
Often confused, but distinctly different.
Yes.
And
Seattle definitely has a different vibe than Portland. And all the times I've been to Seattle, everyone's like, "What? You came to us?" Kind of like that. Yeah, we don't have to go out of our way for you. You came to us. And in Portland, they're like, "What can we do for you? How do we make you stay?" It's kind of a different vibe.
Yeah. And then the other, you have what I'm trying to present is you have lots of options, and I'm just throwing the ones that I can think of off the top of my head as your career counselor.
I love it.
Here at Rip Portland High School.
Where should I go to college? I have so many options.
Yeah, right. Well, and I've always had this issue with I want to walk around with hair like Thulsa Doom. And if I could go outside wearing a cape every day, I fucking would. I'm a closet transvestite, and I'm not ashamed of it. I just know it's not practical to what I want to accomplish, so I dial it back.
There are people who walk around Portland wearing capes every day. This is Portland. They can. There was a llama in the streets yesterday.
I'm going to walk off camera and then walk right in next to you. like a sitcom.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if you just like showed up, walked out of my room?
Yeah,
That's my room right there. Yeah.
that would be it would be a
Or
great
that
gag.
no
or whatever.
magic happens in this
Wait a
room.
minute,
None.
this whole fucking
None.
time, right?
What?
But yeah, so everybody is in the chat is saying yes, they would watch your show, and Tara needs her
Really?
own podcast
That's
and all that kind of
great.
stuff. Yes, they are all saying
Awesome.
this. Now, here's the
Awesome.
thing: the great thing about that element is that it doesn't cost anything. There's a million ways to start it, and it doesn't cost anything. And
Cool.
if you can get some Patreon or some Venmo support off of it, it will help you no matter what. And whatever your next gig is, you don't have to stop doing it for that gig. The only thing is, if you did go right for a campaign, they might want you to cool it, because that was the thing. Jackie Scheckner and I were doing a podcast together. We had just started one, and then she went to become the spokesperson for Planned Parenthood, and they were like, you can only say stuff that we're okay, and it's a very tight conversation there. And I totally understood that. It made a lot of sense. So she and I, had to put that sort of permanently on hold, and she's been doing great ever since, obviously. But everywhere else, you just, especially if it's a podcast, because like I live stream, this is getting a schedule together and building this took some time, and I've been building this race car as we're racing down the track, right? And and I'm gaining on these motherfuckers, but it takes time and a lot of work. Whereas a podcast, and I'll send you a bunch of links for you to dive into, and if your friend wants to record it, awesome. But quite frankly, you can do it on your phone these days, and the quality is just there. So, and then other folks we have in here like Den Boston Brian and Liberal Dan and stuff. If you want to have Tara on as a guest, reach out to her on your show to talk about this kind of stuff. But I will. We have only a few minutes left, so I want to get to some questions about the actual politics of the day, so people.
Yes, let's do that. I still care about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And one of them is somebody just asked, Tara, why do Dems care about polls so much?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't think anybody should. I think the best way to take the temperature of the people is to go talk to the people. And I don't think a poll is indicative of a national feeling, because you're finding a small study group of people, right? It's a small controlled group. Yeah. And I don't think it's indicative of the cross-section of what America is now. And I don't think it's fair to try to reduce a candidate to a number, and especially not this early. And I also don't think it's fair to try to keep it so narrow when there are so many important issues. And so I think it's better for Democrats to, instead of focusing on those numbers, talk about the issues. What are the issues that are so important to Democrats? And they're always the same issues, which are making sure we can all survive the day, whatever that means, right? From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, Democrats want you to live through that day to the best of your ability. They want you working. They want your health covered. They want you to have food in your stomach. They want your children to go to school and come home alive. They want you to retire and be able to pay for your life and have control over your own bodies. We don't want crazy shit. We don't make stupid demands. We don't want to take anything from you.
The goal above all else is competency. I want to do the job that people put me in to do, and do it as well as I possibly can with the resources that I have. Period. End of story. And then we grow from that. And it's our
responsibility to hold them to it. And so Republicans remove, Democrats deliver. And if you want to put it in the most basic terms, there it is. There's a little sound bite for you, because everything the Democrats want you to have, the Republicans don't. That's the bottom line. Republicans don't want you to have anything. They don't even want you to have your own Social Security. The money that you paid into your entire working life, they want you to give it to them. Why would you do that? Why would you ever vote to give someone else your money that belongs to you?
Right.
Because you can't admit you were wrong about Donald Trump? Seriously? Seriously? That's why you would just keep voting for these fucking assholes?
Their ego is more important than their stomach.
We can say we were wrong. We can say we backed the wrong guy. I mean, hello, John Edwards. I mean, Hello, Michael Avenatti. We can say that people have
Sure, yeah, yeah.
disappointed us in the past. It's not hard. The sooner they walk away from Trump, the sooner they might still have a political career, the sooner they might be able to reconstruct the Republican Party to look like what it used to look like.
Mhm.
Maybe, I don't know. What do they care about the most, though? Democrats don't care about the bullshit that Republicans care about. Democrats care about the truth and getting their work done. Republicans care about obstruction. That's all they care. They don't want anything the Democrats
Right.
do to pass.
Well,
That's what it's about at the bottom line.
again,
So ignore the
main,
polls.
I would say the GOP mantra, effectively, in terms of how they run, every single time is government can't do anything right. Elect me and I'll prove it. And
They
that's
never have, though.
just
When has that ever worked?
they just kneecap the government. That's the whole deal. And the interesting thing is like that is absolutely, if you want to talk about like aid and comfort to our enemies or to communism or whatever their current thing that they rail and rally against, that's what they want. They want our government, our institutions, everything to fail, to lose their function, to become overwhelmed with like useless complexity and run by people who couldn't understand a 3-point problem if they were all of the issues in that problem themselves. And then today, like for example, the jobs numbers came out. 187,000 jobs added last month. Like this much lower than expected because the expectation was actually oddly high, and still
because there were 30 months of consistent job growth in the Biden administration.
187,000 jobs added, an enormous number of jobs, like it,
yeah.
And there is an article. This is in markets. Like I look at the economic newspapers like Bloomberg and places like that, places I never used to look at for news before, to get what are they saying behind their backs? I don't give a shit what they're saying on CNBC or on Fox Business. When Maria Bartiromo is talking to her investment advisor, she is having a very different conversation than she's having on the air. She's lying her ass off.
Yeah. No.
And behind the scenes, she's like, "Oh my God, we're like, this is all about to pop. If I can move like $100,000 in there, we'll make $1 million in 3 months." Like that's what those are the conversations she's having because the booming economy, because it's coming back. And everybody's like, well, it's not there yet. And everybody's having a hard time. That's always true. There's always going to be enough people to have a hard time. You can find them and do it. But the goal is to make their lives as good as possible. And that's what Biden's been doing. That's what Dems always do.
Exactly what he's been doing. But
yeah.
But the Republicans would have you believe that Joe Biden has set the country on fire when we have 3% inflation, when unemployment is at a historic low, when the black-white unemployment gap is closer than ever.
Yeah.
So it's because people of color are succeeding, because black people are succeeding, because black women are rising, and white men can't have that. That's what the whole Barbie movie was about.
I beg your pardon. I'm fine with it.
Did you know that white men have been running and ruining everything forever? Because that's what the Barbie movie was about. And like, if I didn't see the Barbie movie, I wouldn't have known that. So really glad they made a movie about the patriarchy. I would not have been aware.
That's what they think the Barbie movie is about?
I mean, again, it's a theme of the Barbie movie is basically mediocre white men ruining everything and homogenizing all of the good things in the world. And if women just ran everything, it would be amazing, which is true. So I mean, that's one theme, and that's one of the reasons why the GOP
for the record,
is triggered.
that should be the theme of the Barbie movie.
He's just Ken. She's everything. He's just Ken. That's the theme. Women are everything. Men are just men.
Well, and again,
and they don't like that.
That's the movie you would make if you're making a Barbie movie. Is that, and maybe, just maybe, if your complaint about men is that they're like that, don't hang out with ones that are smooth in the front. I'm just saying.
You mean like the Republicans? They're all smooth.
Yeah, right. They're all smooth in the front. Yeah, they are all like, because there's no way Kevin McCarthy isn't smooth. I mean, come on.
I mean, no. Well, it's because Marjorie has it in a jar on her desk.
Oh God.
Marjorie fully owns, has one testicle, and Trump has the other one. So
yeah, well, as a spectacular white male who has spent his entire life trying to be fair and lovely to everyone that I possibly know.
You are.
And all but one of my friends, and he's got his own issue.
All but one?
Yeah. Well, yeah, everybody's got one. Yeah, you gotta have one. In all fairness.
I have a friend who wanted me to go on a podcast where the host talks to people who are anti-Semites and Holocaust deniers because it would be great exposure for me. And I was like, is it?
No.
Is it? I don't
No.
know about that. I think
No.
we have to. No, I think I have.
That's a hard pass. Yeah, that's a hard pass.
I don't care how many millions of people watch a podcast. If you're someone who's going to platform RFK Jr.,
Right.
I'm not going to go there with you. Ooh, he's a lunatic, by the way. Let's
Yes.
just remind everybody who's viewing, RFK is not a Democrat, and none of us claim him. None of us.
Right. Yeah. Clearly.
What the fuck with that? Why is he suddenly ubiquitous? Why do he's hanging out with Steve Bannon?
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is that we are in the era of carpetbaggers as a methodology, not just for gaining power in a democratic system, but in also a way of gaining status. So running for office, has value just for its visibility. And the best way to get some of that visibility is to attach yourself to one of the two big parties, because, being an independent running is just not going to, you've got no shot, and all you are is a spoiler. So it's all bad news all the time. So a couple of people, starting Sanders and Trump are the two primaries. Trump is the Sanders of the Republican Party. He's always been he doesn't give a fuck about their conservative religious values and family values and shit. The man is 3 wives deep and was hoping his daughter had the same tits her mom had, like that kind of shit. Like, no fucking way. It's gross. It's fucking gross. It's gross. And Sanders was never a Democrat, caucused with them, and then after he lost, and it, gave it his best shot, but a 30% ceiling nationwide that will always be there, he went back to being an independent instead of being honest with his party affiliation and shit like that, because he wanted to keep his job in Vermont. And that's fine, but just don't bullshit me about it. Same thing with Rand Paul. He's not from fucking Kentucky, but everybody in the Republican Party knew, well, if he runs in Texas, we've got to displace one of our other lunatics, namely Ted Cruz. So let's just move him to some place where the voter rolls are small, the power base is big, and the Republicans already have a stranglehold on the senatorial stuff there in the case of McConnell. And the idea is that, Rand's is the Ron Paul we can bring into the fold. So that was the plan. But he's not a Republican either. He's a fucking libertarian lunatic.
He's and a
libertarianism
Russian
is not.
Yeah,
libertarianism is not a political ideology. It has no functioning structure. So it's an absurdity. So you can't run as a libertarian in any serious way. That's why they ran Doug Stanhope as their as that was the farthest they got with a candidate was when Doug Stanhope ran, because he ran on the fame and silliness of a comedian running who lives in Bisbee, Arizona, and has done every drug on the planet daily for years, whatever. And I like Doug, but Doug doesn't need to be on the he doesn't need the thumb on his own buttons, much less anybody else's. So, but these guys, Sanders kind of made a cut on the brow of the political parties, was the theory, by, as a carpetbagger. And that's why everybody's like, well, Trump could do it, and then Oprah could be, and then we could have an Oprah cut, like that kind of shit. And it became the American idling of the political system, and it's absurd.
I hate it.
It is
I hate
silliness.
it. I think I think we need to be done with people who don't have any experience in government getting
or
really
who don't want to.
jobs in government.
First of all, if you hate the government, you can't be in government, because I don't trust you anywhere near the levers of power if your whole thing is fuck the government, because you definitely don't want it to run well. I don't trust that you're doing behind the scenes what you say you're doing out front, because you ran on undermining the entire fucking thing and making it not work. And the rest of us count on it all the time with the FAA and the EPA and fucking food safety and air, like trains not falling off the tracks, shit like that. We need competency everywhere. And if you're not interested in public service and you're in it for yourself in that regard, fuck right off. And that was where Trump came from.
Exactly. And now we have people are listening to the Moms for Liberty, who are like not even a group that's been around for 2 full years, and they have a national presence, and they're trying to impact public education across the whole country. You want to be in a cult and you want to homeschool your children to believe that Donald Trump is the direct descendant of Jesus Christ. That's entirely up to you. You may not bring it into our public school system.
Right, right.
Keep it the fuck out.
But that's
Go
the
be
thing.
a cult.
Moms
Go
for
live
Liberty is
on
not
an
new.
island.
And Moms for Liberty is not new. It is a new label on an old storyline because this shit's been around since the fucking 20s.
It's just repackaged for the for the new MAGA social media.
Yeah,
people.
MAGA.
And
the Tea Party became MAGA and MAGA.
MAGA.
And
Whatever.
there'll be another at some point. It'll be like the Free Dummies. At some point, they'll have to do a rebrand. But it's the same argument. It's there's what would effectively be orthodox religious types of all sorts can do nothing but try to eliminate democracy because orthodoxies are antithetical to democracy. That's why the founding fathers, in their wisdom, said "fuck you" to the first 2 commandments in the First Amendment. Because you can take the Lord's name in vain. You can take the Lord's name in vain, and you can have other gods before him. Knock yourself the fuck out. And they were scratch that off immediately. So don't get me started on, of course, we can't make you keep a soldier in your house, but we sure as shit can kill people. That said, the goal, messaging wise, we'll talk about that eventually, but I want to remind everybody because we're over time anyways, but Tara Dublin rocks on Shitter right now. And then of course on her Substack, it's taradublin.substack.com. Subscribe on there, help her out, help her make like September rent. So she get you pad her out a little bit. September rent would be
nice to have. That'd be great.
And you have you have a Venmo thing, don't you? Do you have your little Venmo?
I have a Venmo thing. It's at Tara Dublin. Yes, everything, and I have my Substack is linked on my Twitter. I'm also Tara Dublin Rocks on TikTok. You can find me. I don't know that there are that many people named Tara Dublin besides me, so I'm not that difficult to find on those places. But yeah, and also I really want to make it clear. I don't want a handout. I want to work for a living. I like being paid for the things that I'm good at.
Oh, I'm getting them to do that. That's the point.
That's what I'd like. So, and ultimately, like if anybody out there is friends with a literary agent, have them take a look. If anybody knows anybody in the radio industry, have them take a look and a listen. If anybody knows anybody who hires people who write about politics, lovely. Until such time, I will be out there grinding away, and I am absolutely going to be next week. In fact, my friend Dave has of course his name is Dave, has a studio here in Portland. Thinks I'm awesome and has been bugging me for a year to do a podcast with him, so I'm going to do it.
Great. Excellent. And I do think whether it's on your Substack or whether it's in a podcast form, Ammo with Tara Dublin is a great idea.
I love that idea.
It's free and fucking clear. And it can just be a checklist of all the, that Biden checklist, like all the good things that he's done. It's just a constant update about that and a couple of anecdotal elements of that. I think people would be fascinated by the inner workings of stuff, which you are clearly up on, and the difficulty of doing good and how you cannot let good go uncredited because in our world, because if anybody has a chance to hide any good that's happening in the world, they will make money off that process. So there's more money to be made in telling you the world is going to end than in telling you that it's going to go forward. And being the person who goes, fuck you to that for a living right now, because that's what my show is, the more the merrier. And because I know that's important to you, it might be an addition to your Substack you could add and go, here's the ammo report. I'm working on, just so you know, I'm on our way out the door. I'm working on a thing that I'm calling Operation Pineapple. Because pineapple is what they call grenades because of their shape, hand grenades. And also Donald Trump is afraid of pineapples being thrown at him. I don't know why. Tomatoes aren't
hysterical.
He's afraid that people are going to throw.
Spiky and they would hurt.
Yeah, they do. They would be very painful.
Mr.
But
Thin-Skin.
I don't know why he thinks that's where they'll go. He's got a lot of ideas about throwing shit. Where was the one?
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
There you go.
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
Right.
His hands are too small. He can't hold a brick.
Right. So he's afraid of people with big hands who could throw pineapples. Anyways, point is, I'm creating a master list link that and it's taking a little tweaking, that if you send it to someone, they click on it, it will open a bunch of browser windows all in a row with all the articles that just basically fuck their argument. on a myriad of things.
That's awesome.
And
as long as you're getting the truth out.
Yeah. So that's Operation Pineapple. I think Ammo with Tara Dublin is a good option for, for Operation Pineapple related endeavors.
I like it.
Because I would include your shit in my shit in that regard. Does that make sense?
Let's get our shit together. Let's get our shit together, literally.
Right. Yeah. Push that shit in. Wait, no, that's not right.
Get that shit out.
Get that shit out. There you go. That's much better.
See how scatological we can get in this.
I'm sorry. I just saw Training Day again.
Oh, wow.
Last week.
Light a fire.
King Kong ain't got shit on me. Shot me right in the ass. All right. It's just, yeah. That's a rough fucking movie, I gotta say.
It is. And then
rough.
what that one with Michael Douglas where he freaks out. That one.
Falling Down.
That one. Watch that one next. And then you'll be unstoppable.
Interestingly enough, Falling Down more than any other thing is the beginning of the men's rights incel kind of movement. It's one of the seeds that started it, because part of what drives him nuts is the fact that his wife is keeping his child from him, and it pushed him over the edge. Now the problem is that if you're capable of snapping and doing shit like that, then arguably, yeah, you probably shouldn't be around your kid. So it eats its own argument. And that's, I was very disappointed in Falling Down, because it was sold as like almost a comedy about a guy who's had enough, where he's like, why don't you have the breakfast menu past 11 o'clock at McDonald's? Clack, clack, which is, again, that's a Doug Stanhope joke, actually. But that movie, like Mr. Jones was another one with Richard Gere, where he's like, I'm exuberant, I just love life. And then at the end, he's just mentally ill, and he's just sad and broken, and he only dances in public because he's hiding his shame and sadness and sorrow and brokenness. And you're like,
just like me.
How about fuck you? I'm like that.
About fuck you?
I'm not hiding any brokenness in that regard. I really do. Sometimes I wanted to see that movie because I was like, you know what? When I'm watching classical music, sometimes I feel like standing up and going, rah, but I don't. I say that for rock shows because I'm not criminally insane. Right. And I think you understand that, because you folks, follow Tara Dublin Rocks on Shitter and on her Substack, and eventually we'll get her back to Instagram. And what's your Facebook page? Do you have a pro Facebook page?
No, I just have my own, like, for my friends. Just you look at him walking away.
What am I? All right, this turned into an intervention.
How much of my life should Zuckerberg have? Like, how much do I have to give away? Jesus.
You give away nothing. You're not giving anything.
As long as I can monetize this power, I will do it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah.
You're such a good person to direct me this way. I have made reels. I make reels.
See?
It's just I make them. I haven't made any money from them yet, though.
Well, that takes time. You got to put a little. All right, never mind. We'll get into that part of it. I'm going to send you an instructions list. The point is,
I'm so excited. Can you just adopt me? Maybe I'll just move in with you and bring my cats and.
It's what I do.
We'll have a commune.
Yeah.
And you just buy this land and we'll have tiny houses behind.
No, Operation 666 Fifth Avenue. I've been trying to buy that place for years.
Oh,
don't forget, everybody, super chat me so I can buy 666 Fifth Avenue, because I'm going to give an entire floor to the Jimmy Carter Foundation so they can run Habitat for Humanity out of an entire floor, rent-free forever, permanently.
Awesome.
And then basically I'll live in the top like a lunatic, but the rest of the floors will all be like assigned to my media empire so that people can have shows that deserve shows. And there'll be like 2 floors. We'll take out half of the floor in between them and make, 2-story sets so we can shoot television in there. And then basically the place will seal up in a zombie apocalypse, and everybody will have like vertical farms inside on a couple of floors in case we need food.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would like to reserve something on maybe a higher floor just so I can enjoy the view.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, everybody gets they're a reasonable view. It's a relatively tall building.
Good.
So $6.66 super chat if you want to help contribute to that, and of course Venmoing me to help us get a new computer also will lead to that dream. That said, I have said multiple times between me and Boston Brian and our dear friend Liberal Dan and all of us scrappers around the edges of the new Democratic internet. I'm not going to say left, because the left and the right seem to claim these weird pillars out in the fucking wilderness of nuttiness. I would say this is the democratic internet. This is the democracy advocates, people who believe in the principles that the Democratic Party has been trying to push since the civil rights era specifically, and going forward. And as the scrappers around that, spread the love out a little bit. Subscribe to her Substack. Throw a little love, in the Patreon world, my way, her way. Spread it out. A cup of coffee a week to one of us a month. 4 times a month. Get each person a cup of coffee a month on Patreon if you can do it at all. If you can't, and if you don't have any funds to help and that kind of stuff, I understand. We all understand. So all you got to do is share us out. Help spread the word. That's all right. Or if you go, by God, Simon & Schuster, what the fuck is wrong with you? Take my money when it comes to her book.
100%. What is wrong with Simon & Schuster, who keep publishing people from the right who don't write their own books.
Because they know they're going to, it's a guaranteed sale because the Heritage Foundation buys up the entire stock and pulps them.
Or the RNC. They falsely inflate all of I call it the Republican publishing racket. It's a true and real thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Josh Hawley has
Mark Levin's book just got a big asterisk.
Fuck Mark Levin.
Yeah, Mark Levin's.
I'm the one who should have the book deal.
Seriously.
I'm the one Simon & Schuster should be publishing. What the hell? Not just my Dave Grohl book and just my MAGA stories are a book. The fact that when I moved to Georgia from New Jersey in 1989 and went to the University of Georgia, the stories I have just from that.
See?
It was a den of sin. That drama department in 1989, I want to tell you. The stories I could tell. By the way, Kyle Chandler I missed him by 1 quarter. He had left the University of Georgia drama department to seek his fortune in Hollywood. If he had stayed for 1 more quarter, I would have had him as mine own. I just have all these weird celebrity encountering stories.
I avoid you sometimes when I'm in Portland just because I know you're a sexual tractor beam.
And I'm betrothed. No, you're taken.
That's what I mean, because I'm taken.
I wouldn't turn on the tractor beam because we're just friends. I'm a sexual dynamo, which is why I'm the most single woman alive, and a man couldn't handle dating me last month. It's fine.
Look out. That's why she has a Maine Coon, ladies and gentlemen, which sounds...
Next time we can talk about attachment styles and why I discovered I'm anxious. It's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, I get it. I completely understand. Anyways, Tara Dublin, Tara Dublin rocks, everybody. Follow her. And I mean that both in social media forums and if you see her on the street. But do it from a safe distance.
I'm small. Remember, I'm small.
She's petite.
Approach me cautiously.
That's how she tricks you. She looks farther away than she actually is.
Wait, do you want a full body here? I am literally 5 feet tall. Literally. Right. 5 feet tall, 100 pounds. And
I know.
All of the Republicans are scared of me.
I like being around Tara because I feel ginormous.
Well, you know what they say about people with small hands? We make everything look bigger.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Excuse us. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have our own. I'm kidding. All right. Anyways, have a great day.
You too.
Follow through all those things. Talk to your friend today about doing the podcast thing and get it out there and that kind of stuff. And the first thing you need to do is start attacking every conservative guest that Joe Rogan has. Just go high profile all the way. Just
that's so
fuck
easy
him.
to do.
Fuck that whole.
That.
Yeah, you can do it. You totally do it. Just go for it. Hal and Tara need to do a sitcom. That works for me as well.
I'm so down.
Yeah.
I could pitch that in 2 seconds.
You're the situation. I'm the comedy. I get it. It works. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tara, for being on.
Hal.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much. See you later. Hold on. I'm beside of. There we go. And she's outie. There she goes. Excellent. Okay. And then I'll hang her up so she doesn't get caught in there. There you go. Okay, good. Tara's one of those people that if I don't, thanks for the super chat, 666. Oh, that's so lovely. So it's interesting that, you guys being here for that. And I want to, having Tara on as a guest because she was obviously trying to reach out and find a new venue for what she does for a living and turn it into a thing. And that's awesome. But you also kind of got to look into what I would call business social media or media interventions that I do. Obviously with with Stuttering John, it was a little more mechanical and basic in that regard because he already had a show on the air. I was just trying to make it look better and operate better and sound better and give him access to other stuff. And the same thing we're doing with, Boston Brian. We're going to get him up and running. He's going to have a whole studio by the time I'm done with him. God damn it. And then, but that's it's almost like my side job right now. I'm not kidding. I tend to do this with a lot of people, and it feels good. I'm glad, and I've always believed about every art form I have ever been in. If somebody wants to know how to sing or play guitar or do stand up or acting or that, I will never give them like just enough advice to never be a challenge to me. I hate that shit. I will give you every piece. I want you to learn from my mistakes, what the two that I've made. I mean, they were really, or at least learn how to avoid the pitfalls that I see thrown in front of people all the time that I've managed to dodge for the most part. But in all seriousness, I just feel good about that kind of like advice, especially when it comes to technological stuff, because you guys know. And thanks to you guys, thanks to the folks that keep that little jar bouncing around and who have supported the show via Venmo and any other number of things. And our Patreon folks who, some of whom were on board when I was just doing the radio show and before the live stream existed, and those that have come on ever since. I want you guys to know that I do pay it forward as best I can. And I want there to be, I believe that's why I've never put anything behind a paywall message wise, because it's the whole point. And I think the whole point of everybody who, on our side of the aisle, who's trying to speak these things is not so like, oh, give me the inside scoop, is not helpful. We're trying to spread a genuine message to make functional change. And so I appreciate more than you guys know the generosity and the commitment of the Patreon folks and our regular super chatters and our subscribers and all that kind of stuff. I got to tell you, I am constantly emotionally overwhelmed by your support and growing it to a certain point where I could spread it, the support needed thinner over more and more people would make me so happy, so that everybody's like, yeah, I can just give it's $0.25 a month, but it covers all the stuff. That's where I want to get. That's why I want to grow the channel. That's why I want to get it as big as possible. So I don't always have to feel like, boy, I hope that person's in the chat so we do okay this month. Like that. You want to get away from that as much as possible. And the way you do it is by genuinely growing it. And I think the audience is out there. I think the support is out there. And I know what we're doing here has worth. Yeah, exactly, CSL. We could not do it without you guys.